My very first through hike is just around the corner. I'm super excited to get out there with my son and be able to experience this trail, the Uinta Highline Trail. It's about 105 miles and we're gonna be taking about 8 days, 7.5 days approximately to complete this trail. My pack is ready to go and we're just dialing in our food and then we'll be set. Planning backpacking meals is always a tricky thing. I don't want to carry too much food and just carry around extra weight, but I definitely don't want to get out there and run out of food and not have the nutrition and the nourishment I need to keep going and finish the trail. This is something that I'm trying to really dial in, and I think I've figured it out for the most part. If you have any tips though for me, please leave them in the comments. I would love to hear them. And anything that you have, I know that other people enjoy those comments as well and they learn from them as well. So yeah, any tips from your experience would be great. Planning the food for this backpacking trip has been a little rough. It's the longest backpacking trip that I've been on, or that I will have been on, and it's obviously takes more food, and then I'm taking my son as well, and that also adds an additional element to it because I need to plan food for both him and me while we're out there. One thing I've done to stay organized is I've printed off a sheet of paper for each day of the week that we're going to be out there, and then I've also put on each page the meals and the snacks that we'll need. The very first day, for example, doesn't have breakfast or lunch or any snacks during the first part of the day because we're going to be starting the trail just after lunchtime, and it then picks up with snacks and dinner on that page. We are also cold soaking while we're out there. We're not taking a stove, and that's just for some weight savings, and I wanted to try cold soaking. To be honest, it sounds like something that just a new adventure, I guess. And so we are going to be using these Talenti gelato containers for our cold soaking containers. And the breakfast we're using is this mixture that I've made. It's basically a granola like this that is, it's by 7 Sundays. And it doesn't have any oats or anything like that in it. It's just nuts and chia seeds and flax seeds. I do try to stay as healthy as I can while I'm out there on trail, and I do have some other items that aren't totally healthy, so don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm eating lettuce and stuff out there the whole time, but I did want to try this. I've eaten this at home and my son loves it, and so the reason I wanted to try it out there cold soaking is because I've also gotten this whole milk powder right here. And that's all that's in it is whole milk powder to add some additional fat, some additional calories, and the weight to calorie ratio is spot on with this. It's really, really good. 35 grams, which is, 6 grams more than an ounce approximately, and 170 calories. So the weight to calorie ratio is pretty good. The ratio I'm trying to use is about 100 calories per ounce of food. If I can make it more calories per ounce, then that's even better. Now I did add some some freeze-dried blueberries to this mixture here, and we will just basically add cold water to it and eat it right out of here like a cereal. So that's gonna be awesome. And then I've got that just set out for each day of the week. I've got his food and my food in just each row, so we know exactly what we're taking, and I can keep it organized and make sure that I'm not forgetting something, or that I have enough, and make sure that I have enough food in here. Now each row of food right now is about 2,600 calories. I am going to be adding in some additional, maybe not this brand, but some additional freeze-dried cheese to our packs and our food loadout, and that'll add an additional 300-400 calories and get us right around 3,000 calories per person per day. My son's 14 and he's probably not going to be eating that much. Actually, I think he eats more than me, just growing and being active and everything. So maybe he'll be eating some of my food, who knows. But anyways, so that's kind of where we are with our calories and just per day, and just trying to Again, keep everything as lightweight as possible, but very calorie and nutrient dense. Some of the things that I'm also going to be cold soaking is just some refried beans. I've dehydrated these, and I'm going to be using, we each have our own bag of some Fritos that we'll be scooping into it after it's cold soaked, just for a little crunch and a little more flavor. And then one thing I'm going to be adding in also, this stuff's awesome, just some ghee, basically purified butter or clarified butter, and it's half an ounce for 120 calories. So this is phenomenal for some additional flavor and some additional fat and calories when you get to camp, just to be able to have that. Now I do have some almond butter packets, these little Justin's almond butter. I do have some peanut butter ones as well, just different flavors, just to keep some variety. And these are great. And then also a bunch of these Stinger waffles. These things are awesome. They taste so good. They're not the healthiest thing out there, but they're not terrible actually. So again, something that doesn't take up a ton of space, just really thin, and it's a good weight to calorie ratio. And then we've got some different varieties of Lara bars as well for, just different, again, variety and good nutrition while we're out there. The other thing that I have that I put together is just some trail mix. This has some pumpkin seeds, some raisins, some M&Ms, and then some roasted and salted pistachios that I just bought this big bag and just put it in here. These things are great. They're 1 ounce for 160 calories. So very great item to be taking, and we both love pistachios. And so that's gonna be awesome to have out there. And then also getting some sodium off the salted pistachios as well. So that'll be really good to have as far as like electrolytes go. Speaking of electrolytes, I do use this Relight electrolyte mix right here. I use this quite often when I'm out hiking and backpacking. I am taking it in just a Ziploc bag. I've measured it out. I know how many scoops are in here, and I do have the little scoop. It doesn't weigh that much and doesn't take up much space. And then my son, he uses these liquid IVs right here, and he's gonna be taking these with him for some electrolytes as well. Oh, one more thing that I made is this protein powder. This is a green protein powder, plant-based protein powder, and it's just got a ton of nutrients in it. And then I've added some of this whole milk powder again into it, just for a little creaminess, and we'll just mix this in our Talenti cold soak containers and be able to drink that and have some nutrition. And if we use it with cold water, it doesn't need to soak or anything, so we can drink it cold, and it's gonna be pretty awesome just for some extra vitamins, nutrients, those kinds of things. We do have some other items here, just some fun items, some freeze-dried Skittles and freeze-dried Jolly Ranchers. And these are just gonna go along with us. I've rationed them out so we don't eat them all in one day, but we get about 30 per person per day, and that'll get us through the whole week. And then these, we have like 1 or 2 a day. So definitely something that's just for fun to take out there. They don't weigh a lot, but they'll be nice for just when we get to camp and we've had a long day, we can just eat some things like that. And then I've thrown in some Pop-Tarts and these little oatmeal cream pie things. And these are killer as far as the calories, 310 calories. Not the healthiest thing, but again, something that's just kind of, when you get to camp, just some comfort food and being able to enjoy your time. One other item we're taking along is, this is just strictly for a little crunch as well along the way. Some seaweed, basically, that's seasoned with salt and olive oil. And these are just really great, very nutritious. They don't weigh a ton. They don't give you a ton of calories. This one whole thing is 60 calories, but it's just something, grab a few sheets and snack on it when needed. And so we each have our thing of that. So yeah, this is pretty much my loadout for my food. I'm hoping that it's sufficient. Again, what tips do you have for me and for anyone who might watch this video and who might read the comments, and just to try and see what people are doing out there? Am I low on calories? Am I about right? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. On this trip, I am also switching up how I normally carry my food. I normally use an sack, which is this one right here, and it's just got these ropes. You just cinch it up and you tie it to a tree. You don't have to worry about throwing a rock over a tree and trying to find the perfect tree and setting it all up that way. But I am switching back to the good old PCT hang, and I'm gonna be using this as my throw bag, my rock sack. It's got some slick line in it from Z-Packs is where I purchased it. It also has a small little toggle in it that's super lightweight, and that just makes it easy for when I use the Marlin spike hitch as part of the PCT hang. And then I'm gonna be using just a Sea to Summit stuff sack, waterproof stuff sack for my bear bag. I don't actually have one because I haven't been using a bear bag that I need to hang in a tree because I've just been using this, but this won't be big enough to carry all the food. So I'm gonna be using this 20-liter food bag, or this 20-liter stuff sack as my food bag, and I think it'll work great. I'm just gonna put the rope around here and it'll hold it up in the tree. And then inside of this, I am using these smelly proof bags. I love these things. They keep odors down, they keep critters away. They don't weigh that much, and they just super nice to be able to put your food in. And again, keep critters away and not be able to smell it. So that is the food carry system I'm gonna be using to hold all of this food. So now the question is, will it fit in this bag, or will I need to figure out something different? I'm gonna go ahead and get this stuffed into a Ziploc bag, just one day of food for both me and my son, and see if it'll fit in a Ziploc bag. I wanna see how heavy this food loadout is, and I wanna see if it'll fit into this bag, and see how many of these smelly proof bags that I'll need to bring along to be able to fit it all in. So let's get to that. So I've gone ahead and put 1 day's worth of food in this Ziploc bag, and this is food for both me and my son. Gonna weigh it. We're looking at 2 pounds, 12 ounces. And then once I add in a thing of this cheese into each of these bags, that'll be about 2 more ounces. And so if I'm looking at 6 times 3, we're looking at 18 pounds of food in it with the other things as well. So probably about 20 to 23 pounds when all is said and done. That's not too bad. For 2 people for 8 days, I'm pretty stoked on that. So I just put all the food in this bag right here. I am keeping these 2 bags out just because these are gonna be eaten day 1 when we're hiking in, and these are gonna some of this will be eaten as well that same day, and then I'll not have to worry about it. And then as things get out of here, I'll throw this one in. But basically, this is gonna be our food bag, and let's see how much it weighs. We're just at 18, just barely over 18 pounds for food right here. So that's not too bad. I think that'll be good. In my son's pack, he's gonna only have a few little items in there. He will have his top quilt and his under quilt, so that'll add some weight, but I have everything else in my pack of his. So yeah, just trying to, just see how this works. And so, yep, that's what we're looking at as far as our food goes. So 18 pounds of food plus whatever's in here. So yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope you stay safe out there.